Look up. The sky is not dark. It is burning. Timber beams shriek as they split. Church bells melt into dripping bronze. Sparks swirl overhead like furious constellations. The air tastes of ash, iron, like a world being unmade. I am Professor Alistair Chronos, and I have walked through these flames. I have stood inside plague-ridden alleys where the shadows seem to breathe. I have watched London die, and watched it refuse death. Come with me. We're stepping into the most catastrophic, miraculous decade in the city's history. A decade in which London was restored, infected, incinerated, frozen, and reborn. This is not a story of destruction. It's a story of transformation, and it begins long before the fire. In 1660, London appeared triumphant, one of the largest cities in Europe, a booming commercial engine of nearly 400,000 souls. Gold glittered in the markets of Cheapside. Ships clogged the Thames with sugar, tobacco, spices, and human cargo. Theatres, long shuttered by Puritan rule, burst open again with laughter and song. A king had returned. May 29, 1660. Thousands flooded the streets as Charles II entered the city. Wine flowed. Bells rang. England exhaled after years of civil war and execution. But beneath the celebration, something darker lingered. London wasn't just crowded, it was combustible. Most buildings were timber and pitch, leaning inward like conspirators. Narrow alleys trapped heat, filth, and sewage. The Thames, lifeline of the city, was a glittering artery polluted by the very people who depended on it. The city was a glittering crown built on a skeleton of fear. And while the people cheered their restored king, something else slipped into the city almost unnoticed. A predator. Everything London needed to burn was already in place. It began in the riverside parishes. No thunder, no warning, just a fever, a swelling, a scream. The Bubonic Plague had returned. Fleas on rats aboard merchant ships carried a microscopic terror, Yersinia pestis, the same force that once wiped out a third of Europe. By summer 1665, the city was choking. Red crosses were painted on infected houses alongside a desperate plea, "Lord, have mercy upon us." Watchmen nailed families inside their homes. Night carts rattled through silent streets as drivers cried, "Bring out your dead!" Every week, 7,000 Londoners vanished. The wealthy fled. The poor waited for death. And then, winter. Cold slowed the plague's advance. The death toll fell. People crept out of hiding. London had survived, or so it thought. Because the plague had left behind something worse. A city weakened. A city dried out like parchment. A city ready, without knowing it, for ignition. The plague didn't kill London. It prepared it. Midnight, September 2nd, a bakery on Pudding Lane. A spark, small, almost forgettable. But in a city built of dry timber, it was enough. A warm easterly wind caught the flames, then fed them, then weaponized them. Fire jumped from house to house like a living creature. By sunrise, smoke smothered the Thames. By nightfall, the entire sky glowed orange for miles. I watched Ludgate dissolve in flames. I saw fire leap rooftops like volleys of artillery. And then, old St. Paul's Cathedral. Refugees took shelter inside its stone walls, believing it invincible. They were wrong. Scaffolding caught first, then the roof, its lead sheets heated until they liquefied, pouring into the streets like a silver river. Stone cracked, glass exploded. The cathedral became a furnace. For 3 days, London burned. 13,000 homes, 87 churches, markets, guild halls, entire neighborhoods vanished into ash. The medieval city was gone. And yet, London didn't die. It transformed. When the flames finally died, the city looked like a battlefield on another planet. Charred beams jutted from the ground like ribs. Smoke curled out of cellars where entire streets once stood. Many believed London was finished. But there was a man, an astronomer, mathematician, architect, who saw possibility in the ruins. Christopher Wren. Within days, plans circulated. Wide boulevards, brick and stone buildings, order instead of chaos. Property rights blocked a full redesign, but the essentials took root. Wood was outlawed for new construction. Streets widened, quays improved. The new London wouldn't burn like the old one. It would rise stronger. And at the heart of it, in 1675, construction began on Wren's masterpiece, a new St. Paul's Cathedral. Not Gothic, not medieval. A modern marvel, a domed titan inspired by St. Peter's in Rome. Light flowed where darkness once pooled. Symmetry replaced shadow. The skyline had changed its ideology. But not everything was new. Look eastward. The Tower of London, the old stone sentinel, survived plague and fire alike. Its walls absorbed the heat of 1666, but did not fall. Inside, prisoners waited. Weapons were stored. The crown jewels rested under guard. The tower was continuity, a reminder that though the city transformed, power endured. And just when London thought it had seen everything, the river froze. 2 decades after the fire, nature delivered one final spectacle. The winter of 1683 to 1684 plunged Europe into brutal cold, part of the Little Ice Age. The Thames froze solid. Not just iced over, frozen into a road, a marketplace, a city. Because Old London Bridge constricted the river's flow, the ice thickened until it could hold thousands. Londoners poured onto the frozen water and built an entire world. Taverns, soup stalls, printing presses stamping souvenirs marked "Printed on the Thames," roasted oxen crackling over open flames. Imagine it, walking on the frozen heart of London, walking on a river that swallowed ships.